Welcome back to our Stony Creek journey. Thanks for joining us. Just thought I'd introduce our new rooster, Arnie. Arnie is an Araucana rooster. Arnie was supposed to be Arabella. I thought he was a girl for so long. When he was born, he was cute, little grey one compared to the other ones. But now, as you can see, look at this beautiful feathers on the back here, indicating a rooster. But Arnie has been cock-a-doodle-doodling now and getting friendly with the ladies. So I want to try and keep Arnie. We've had a bit of a rooster issue. Rusty, our lovely copper maran, has decided he's becoming boss, and him and Bluey and Alan have been having some fights. And 2 nights ago, Rusty pinned Alan down, who's in there, and was really attacking him. So we've had to separate Rusty, and he's now in the tractor. So we're going to see how that goes, but he cannot be in the orchard any longer. And if he doesn't play nicely, I think Rusty may have to go, but we'll see. But everybody else in here is nice and happy. And I've got one hope of an Araucana girl left, and where is she? You can see her here, this little grey one. I've been doing some orchard pruning, so you can see all the prunings, but that little grey girl there, hopefully, she looks like she's a hen. And then Arnie in the back, they were born at the same time. So yeah, I'm just feeding them. Wake up morning on Stony Creek. We'll pop up what we've done this week. We've got some more gardening stuff, more pigs. And the concrete arrived for the cool room floor. So we'll pop that all up for you. So this is where Rusty is now residing, in the tractor. You can see him, he's the colourful rooster there. So this week we processed 4 of the roosters that were in there, and we've still got 1, 2, 3, at least 4 more. And then we've started putting some little hens in here as well. And I think eventually what will be, hopefully, if Rusty behaves himself and plays nice with everyone, we'll have hens and Rusty. And then we might bring a couple of the bigger girls out here to teach the little pullets how and where to lay the eggs. So let's hope this works out well for Rusty's sake and for our sake, because I like Rusty. He's just been a bit nasty, and we don't need nasty roosters. But maybe if he's kingpin in here, he'll be okay.
Hello boys. I'm down with the boys, and as you can see, they're renovating this paddock quite nicely. And I explained a few things on another video about the pigs, but now that I've got on top of some of the renovations in the house, I thought I'd better hurry up and get their permanent pig enclosure organised. And a good friend of ours dropped off these panels here, literally off the back of a truck. They were panels off a glass truck for the A-frame, and he dropped them in, and I modified them so I could hold it all together with a star picket on corners and ends, and welded some hinges on it, made a little gate, and that will be on this water tank. Half water tank was on the farm, and it was being used over there as a full water tank, but there was a shelter, so I cut it in half. It was just too big and ugly, and the pigs don't need that much room. So I've cut it in half and put it on side, and I'll get some timbers in there and build up the ground so they're not on the ground, and their nesting can stay dry and warm, because we're going to be coming into winter before you know it. So this is their permanent shelter. The first pen that they were in is their training pen and access to the first break in this paddock. And if I get 2 to 3 weeks out of each paddock, I'll have to look up and see how long they've been in that first break, but it just depends on how quick they're growing and how much they're eating. But they've got 2 more breaks here. The third break here is a bigger paddock, and I planned it that way because another 3 weeks they'll be bigger again. But then once they're finished in there, they can head out here into this paddock. I've just got to make up some more fencing, but they'll always have this shelter as their permanent shelter, and their water source will be in here as well. I'm going to get some pavers and put down some pavers and put their water trough on there, and then it'll be covered by 3 sides then, so it'll be safer because they knock it around a bit. They're pretty strong animals, and I can't believe that we can keep them in on just the 1 wire. And they respect that wire pretty good. It's not on at the moment because I've got Zap playing around with it, so I've turned it off, but they still respect it. They're very good. They're very good animals, well behaved animals to have, and they do come to a bucket, so if I've got a bucket they'll follow me anywhere I go. And the more time I spend with them and socialise with them, the easier they are to handle. I'm still weary around them, but because they're a powerful animal. You try grabbing one of these things and they'll give you a run for your money now, let alone when they're 5-6 months old. So I didn't show you any welding on those panels because steel's not my forte. I've never really done any welding. I have a welder, but I've done very little welding over the years, but I'm only as good as I am on, and I think I'm a lot better on the grinder than I am welding. If anyone who's attempted welding and will understand that, you grind off all the rough bits and make it look pretty. So hopefully this is going to work. I'm pretty sure it'll work. It's a much better system of managing the boys and pigs in the future. I finally coaxed the boys into their new enclosure and set up their water and shut the gate, and they've got that new break of paddock to work on, which is really long. I put them in there and I couldn't see them for the grass, so I've now coaxed them into here, and it's a pretty warm day, so they're looking for a bit of shade, so I've got that there with that shelter and they're checking it out. I'll put some fresh straw in there for them to bed in, but I'll leave them in here for the rest of the day and they can just hang out in here where it's shade, feed and water, key ingredients. Pigs don't sweat like humans, and the poor old things, they do feel the heat, and there's nothing better than either to roll in a mud bath or wallow, or get a hose down with the hose, but they love the hose. They're a bit like dogs. They pant like dogs when they're hot, and with all the excitement of moving and coaxing them into the new home, they were getting a bit hot, so I thought, I'll just hose them down, and they don't mind it at all. Here, boys. Belza just loves apples. And I have to watch so I don't lose my finger. Don't you, Gil? And Uzuri is now starting to come for an apple. She won't quite take it out of my hand yet, but she'll eat it when I drop it on the ground. Go away, Gal. I haven't got any more. She's growing up to look just like her sister. Who wants another apple? Don't you, darling?
It's going to be a warm day today, so I thought I'd better get out early and start picking some of these berries. So I thought I'd show you. The berry patch is pumping at the moment. I need to make sure I write that down of when the best time is to harvest. I didn't do such a good job of that last year, so hopefully I'll be better at putting exactly when things are harvesting and when they're growing best. But we've got lots of raspberries, so I'll show you the beautiful raspberries we're getting. Check these out. So, and you can see my hand, they are so delish. Heaps of raspberries at the moment, and also blackberries. I'll show you those. Just got to pull back some of these leaves, but luckily these are thornless, but they are fantastic, and there's stacks in there, and they're going to be fruiting for quite a while, so I have to make sure I make a note of when they finish. The strawbs are nearly finished. There's a few certainly in this bit left, but certainly not as many as there was, but yeah, still some nice looking strawbs there. So yeah, end of Feb, peak berry time. Blueberries, as I've said before, we didn't do so well. Better luck next year, hopefully. So speaking of raspberries, those that have watched a couple of videos ago know that we started doing a little new raspberry patch that we could get to front and back of it. And I thought, well, if I start digging it now, by the time it's time to replace some of the raspberries or dig these autumn ones in, the ground will be nice, and it will have some fertiliser in there from the compost and poo and all sorts of things, grass clippings. And Robert thought, well, he would do a little bed around it, so to help prevent the kikuyu getting in. I think it's almost impossible to do that, but hopefully stop the runners heading out so much, but we'll see. So one day he worked on that. I was at work, and obviously what he had in his mind and what I had in my mind was vastly different. So when I came home from work, he's very excited to show me what he'd done. So I'll show you what he did. So here we are. When Robert showed me, I was a little bit taken back, shall we say. It's a little bit different than what I thought it would be. And we're affectionately calling it the big canoe, or the really long coffin, but the rustic raised garden bed would be probably the nicest term. And once it gets the raspberries in it, I'm sure it will look good. I just wasn't expecting it to be quite so raised, but very rustic, because this is using boards that were around the farm. And he's done a great job, because that is not moving or going anywhere, and it will be the dirt in it will be able to mound that up and make it really nice. So yes, that's the new rustic raised garden bed for the raspberries. Thank you, Robert. So I thought I'd show you how the corn's going, and an update down on the corn and pumpkin patch. So the first lot of corn that we planted was around about 50 plants we put in, and that's all done now. We've pulled every cob off, and yet again I didn't do very good picking them as early as I should have. We were just busy, and I didn't get as many off as I should have early, and some started to dry. But I am saving some seeds of that, because it is a heritage corn, and we should be able to use that to plant seeds next year. So yeah, planted about 50 seeds, plants, and of that I made a record. We've got about 52 cobs to eat, and then there would have been at least 15 that we gave to the pigs. So pretty happy with that. So now we're just chopping them down at the base, and we're giving those to the pigs. They actually love them. Just brought down some chook poo, and I'm going to spread that around the base here just to give it a little bit of fertiliser. We've still got our other lot of corn that got flooded, but it's got a few cobs on it. So there's a few there. I probably should have a bit of a squeeze and make sure that they're ready to pick. And then we've got our little popping corns, and they look very different because they're very small, and there's quite a few on those, but they are mini. So I'll just have to keep an eye out on when they're ready. I've got a couple of pumpkins, let's come through the patch here, that I've pulled already and getting them to harden up, and then there's a few more, so I'm just waiting for them, the vines, to dry off a bit. But all in all is looking good, but we'll just give it a little bit of a fertiliser. Planted a couple of extra zucchinis to see if they will grow, so I'll give them a little bit of chook poo as well. But happy with our harvest. Next year I think we're going to put more corn in, and hopefully we can grow some better watermelons. They didn't go so well. That line there are Jerusalem artichokes that we pulled out of our veggie garden. They are growing great guns, and they will stay down here, and we'll eventually hopefully get them out of the veggie garden. The concrete truck's just arrived. There's a concrete for the corn room. Let's have a look.
Yelling like he's in the water near the rock, yelling at it. Like we'll go and go, oh, over here,
So it could take a few hours to get this in.
I
just leave it out.
I hit it right in the good spot.
So we'll end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in. This is the end result of the concrete for the cool room. Looking good. It'll cure over the next week or so, and Robert will order the panels for the cool room, so for the walls and the roof. He'll talk more about that when they come and when he's putting it together. So yeah, hope you all had a good week, and until next time, we'll see you back on the farm.